A house caught fire on Opal Street. Our reporter Emmett will have more coming up.
I'm Olivia Mayo.
And I'm Jose. Welcome to Murrow News 8.
From the Northwest Public Broadcasting Studios on the campus of Washington State University, this is Murrow News 8.
There's a house fire on Greek Row on Opal Street. We're getting new information and have a reporter live on the scene. Emmett, what do you see?
Thanks, Olivia. Behind me here at 830 Northeast Opal Street, a house caught on fire at approximately 2:45 p.m. today. Just by happen chance, I was here on the scene as soon as smoke was coming out of this building. Something notable here is this house neighbors the fraternity Phi Gamma Delta, also known as Phi G. And when I was here on the scene, I was going to this house behind me and the fraternity letting know that their neighboring house was on fire. Now, I had a conversation with Adam Hoffman, the deputy fire marshal for the Pullman Fire Department. He's still trying to piece stuff together here on what exactly the cause is of that fire. I can tell you this, when the fire first started, it had a tan beige color smoke coming out of it. Now, right now, as we see, it's a white smoke coming out of the roof here. Looks like the fire department's still having a conversation and what the next scene or next plan of attack is. But as soon as we know anything, we'll keep you up to date here on Murrow News 8.
Thanks, Emmett. Today marks the 23rd anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks on the World Trade Center towers in New York City. Today we remember the many lives that were lost in the events that took place on this day. In honor of the brave individuals who died on 9/11, the city of Pullman held their annual 9/11 terrorist attacks remembrance ceremony this morning. A procession of first responders led the ceremony, raising the flag at City Hall.
Apple Cup coming up this weekend in Seattle at Lumen Field. This will be the 116th meet between the University of Washington Huskies and the Cougars. Kickoff will be at 12:30. Jake Dickert had some words about how the team is preparing for the crowd on Saturday.
The half and half crowd, why was that, I guess?
Well, right now we do that every away game on Wednesdays. You know, we're going to red zone period, get loud. I mean, I don't know what it's going to be like, so I want to prepare them for everything. You know, they're students, they're not even in school yet. So these guys are working the NFL schedule on the Cougs right now. So I don't know what it is. It's definitely through ticket sales. It's not 50-50, you know, so we're preparing for crowd noise and we'll be ready when those times come.
The state superintendent is asking Washington schools to consider strengthening cell phone restrictions for students to improve student learning. The Pullman School Board will begin discussing a proposal to tighten their cell phone rules during tonight's meeting. The biggest change would be for elementary and middle school students, calling for limited phone access during the entire school day. Those students are currently allowed to use their cell phones at lunch.
3 Washington State fraternities are under investigation for alleged violations that reported occurred around the start of the fall semester. The first serious allegations are against Tau Kappa Epsilon House, which is currently on suspension. This fraternity is under investigation for several alleged violations. These allegations include hazing. The Sigma Chi House is being investigated for an incident on August 25th involving alleged of reckless endangerment. The Sigma Phi Epsilon fraternity is accused of reckless endangerment with an incident that occurred on August 25th.
Also on the topic of law enforcement, the Pullman Police Department is asking for the public's help in identifying a person of interest from a series of thefts at Walmart. Officers responded to a report of a shoplifting spree at the Pullman Walmart on August 31st. Anyone with information about the woman is asked to contact the Pullman PD. And coming up, Vice President Kamala Harris received an unexpected endorsement from one big celebrity after last night's presidential debate. The nation is reacting to the presidential debate that aired last night on ABC. Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Trump faced off for the first time since Harris received the Democratic nomination. The pair took to the stage to discuss the nation's questions, and this year's microphones were muted after the candidates' time was up. According to the Washington Post, Harris's campaign is seeking a second debate with the former president. After the debate, Harris received a notable public endorsement from singer-songwriter Taylor Swift.
Some breaking news: there was a black Toyota with tinted windows displayed with a firearm. The Tacoma was last seen on Stadium Way from Main Street. He was found, all is safe. If you're passing through downtown today, a reminder that a traffic revision at Paradise Kamiak will start tonight at 7 p.m. and will likely end by 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. See, Paradise Street will be reduced to one lane with 2 ways, flagging for private sewer service repairs at Paradise Creek Brewery.
It's starting to cool down in the region, but wildfire season is not over just yet. A wildfire torched an old railroad trestle and an outbuilding north of Albion. Whitman County Fire District 11 volunteers arrived to a blaze on Shawnee Road around 2 p.m. on Tuesday, just north of Albion. The wildfire torched an old railroad trestle and an outbuilding. Some power poles were also burned, causing an outrage for nearby residents. Well, it was a little chillier going to school today. Brooke, is the weather here to stay?
Yes, so it looks like we are going to be cooling down quite a bit. A little different from last week, for sure. It definitely was a hot one this weekend, but the high today is going to be 68 degrees, 54 is the low for today. Some winds creeping in, and I think tonight we're going to be getting a few showers as well, so there'll be some rain overnight. And tomorrow we're going to have a high of 67, still cooling down quite a bit before it gets a little hotter this weekend, a low of 51, those winds still sticking around. And across the state, pretty similar weather throughout, a little bit hotter weather in Yakima and over in Spokane, but pretty cool still throughout the state. And looking at our 5-day forecast, we've got winds kind of creeping throughout the week, some showers until we get to the weekend where it's going to really cool or heat up and get a little sunnier. Back to you.
Brooke, and it's the biggest rivalry of the year. What details you need to know for Saturday's game, we've got you covered after the break.
It feels like no matter where you look, the state of the world's getting worse. Oceans full of plastic, an endless amount of waste, an impossible task ahead of fixing our beloved planet. But change can't happen if you do nothing. So here's where you should start. Reduce. Why? Because Americans produce more than 200 million tons of waste every year, and you don't want to add to that. Reuse. Why? Because reusing and repurposing cuts back on unnecessary waste, and it gives things a chance at new life. Recycle. Why? Because recycling creates jobs. It helps our community and it helps our planet. And after doing all this, what will we be left with? We'll be left with a planet that will slowly start to heal. We'll be left with more money in our pockets. We'll be left with more opportunity for work. And most importantly, we're left with hope for the future. So reduce, reuse, recycle.
After a big win this past Saturday against Texas Tech, the Cougs will head to Lumen Field this Saturday and take on the Huskies for the 116th Apple Cup. The Huskies are favored by 4.5 points over the Cougs as of this morning. Cougs head coach Jake Dickert gave credit to the Huskies head coach Jed Fish for what he has done in such a short amount of time. When talking about the Apple Cup, Coach Dickert said, quote, "The Apple Cup splits families and homes within our own state, and we're excited to continue on and be a part of it," end quote. Both teams enter the contest with a 2-0 record. Kickoff will be this Saturday at 12:30 p.m. In Coach Dickert's press conference, he talks about the importance of this game, of what this game holds.
Durant, and we talked to Schlenbaker yesterday. Schlenbaker is a Bellingham kid, and the other two guys, they didn't even know what the Apple Cup was before coming here. Have you had to kind of relive some memories, or even tell them about when you guys won back in 2020?
Yeah, I mean, we had a team meeting and kind of talked about it as we, our opponent preview stuff. So I had a couple guys talk about what it means to them and in those games, and kind of the feeling what it felt last year, walking off that field. So, they understand, without making it too big, they understand, and we'll do some things Friday night to kind of emphasize what we're walking into.
Cougar Soccer will be traveling to the University of Georgia for a pair of matches. WSU will face Georgia Southern Thursday at 3 p.m. from the Turner Soccer Complex. And the Cougs and Georgia Southern have only met once when the Eagles made the trip to Pullman in 2017. Cougs won that game 5-0 with goals from 5 different players. Last time out on the pitch, the Cougs tied UC San Diego with a 1-1 score. They go into this game with a record of 2-2-2. Heading over to volleyball, Washington State Volleyball won its 3rd straight match Monday night with a 5-set victory over Eastern Washington and sweeping the Eagles. With the win, the Cougs improved to 3-2. Katie Ryan and Sage Brustad led the offense as Ryan scored 21.5 points on 20 kills and 2 blocks, and Brustad finished with 20.5 points on 17 kills, 2 blocks, and 2 service aces. Cougs will head over to Seattle to take on the Huskies this Friday at 7 p.m. from the Alaska Airlines Arena. And with golf, sophomore Alice Johannesson fired her 2nd straight round of 68 to win the Betty Lou Evans Invitational hosted by Kentucky on Tuesday. Johannesson tailed 8 birdies to post the best round among the 69-player field for the 2nd straight day and held off TCU's Kristen Angosta by 1 stroke to record her 1st career win and 1st individual title for the Cougs since 2020. WSU returns to competition September 23rd to 24th at the Pterodime Ram Classic hosted by Colorado State in Fort Collins.
Up next, today's National Day is highlighting everyone's most dreadful task in the morning. We have that next for you here.
They took over my bedroom. Come on, come on. Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. Dad! You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Today is National Make Your Bed Day. We all need to sleep at some point, and getting a good night rest gives us an opportunity to recharge while we can't always get a perfect night's rest. Did you guys make your bed today, or did we?
I did not.
Weirdly, I did not, and I usually do, so it's a little odd.
I didn't either this morning. I was kind of in a rush.
Yeah.
But that is all that we have for you guys today.
Thanks so much for tuning in.
I'm Olivia Mayo.
I'm Brooke Bovenkamp.
Jose.
We'll catch you next time right here on Murrow News 8.